What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the Lakers, my predictions for the Lakers of 2019 through 2020 season. Also going to be playing a little bit of 2K My League today. Am I the best at 2K? No, but it's just a little entertaining thing to have in the background. So anyways, let's get to it. The reason for making this video is just reading a lot of what fans have to say about the Lakers this season and a lot of my friends and what they're saying. And I actually got into, not like an argument, just more like a little sports debate with one of my friends today on Twitter about the Lakers. But it's just really interesting to see everybody give up, I want to say, on LeBron or think that he has nothing else to show for his career just because based off of what happened last year. And I know it kind of looked bad that as good of a player as LeBron is, and then he comes to the Lakers and then they don't even make the playoffs. But there's a lot of things that happen within that a lot of people don't talk about, or it's just not discussed for some reason. A lot of people don't realize there's context when it comes to basketball. Like if you just look at what happened on paper or what happens on paper, you're not going to get a clear idea of what happened unless you actually watch basketball. And I think that's what's kind of like not getting me mad, but just like it just makes me excited for the season because I can't wait for the Lakers to show everybody what we really have to prove this season as a Laker fan. But also that just on the basketball point of view, I just think that LeBron James is still a top or the best player in the league. Like if you want to give the argument that KD's better, I can see where you're coming from. But at the same time, like these past couple of years, it's been clear that KD has the better team. So what was he supposed to do? Like was LeBron supposed to win in those situations? Like no, we went into the season knowing that even if LeBron goes to the finals again with the Cavs, that there's a 99% chance that the Warriors are probably going to come out in that situation just because of how talented and loaded their roster was. But to say the very least, it's very surprising that even with the acquisition of AD, people are still claiming the Lakers. I'm seeing things like the Lakers aren't even with AD and LeBron. I'm seeing things that they're not going to make the playoffs or they're not going to be a good fit just because of the fact of their supporting cast. And I honestly think their supporting cast fits them really well. You don't have a lot of big name guys, but you have. We kept one of the young players in Kyle Kuzma, and I think he has potential. I think he can get better. He's a good third option as for right now, and I think because when you are the third option, you're taking the least shots out of your big three or the guys who are trying to divide it up and pursuing the offense. So I don't think he's going to have to take a lot of shots, but he is a great offensive player and he knows how to score. And then you also got Rondo, who has great leadership and who knows how to run the offense. And honestly, I think their only issue is you can't really run LeBron and Rondo on the court at the same time. You have to let Rondo come off the bench and run the bench unit, him with Kuzma and also Dwight Howard coming off the bench for him. I think it could be interesting to say the least, when you have that lineup. And also the Lakers have so many lineups that they could run. You could have LeBron at point guard, or you can have him at small forward, and then you can have Kuzma off the bench, or you could start him. Avery Bradley was a really great acquisition, especially on the defensive end. I've seen a ton of posts so far about how excited the Lakers are with his defensive tenacity, and that was the reason why it's looking like he may be a starter this season. And honestly, I think that you could go with that, or you can go with other lineups. But I think the best lineup for the Lakers to run is you have LeBron at the point guard, Danny Green and Avery Bradley at the 2 and 3, or Avery Bradley at the 2 probably. But and then you have Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee, and the reason you don't want Anthony Davis playing the 5 is because he's previously said that that's not the position he wants to play. He wants to play more of a 4 position, and I think what we're going to see this year is I'm not saying he's going to be as good as KD, but I think he wants to be more of a style like a Kevin Durant. I don't think he wants the typical big man role. I think he wants to start playing more that of a small forward who's just the size of a center or a power forward. But you could go with that lineup, or you can go a lineup with Rondo, Green, LeBron, Kuz, and AD when you want to go a little bit bigger. But I think just the fact that that you have the option of running LeBron at point guard, and he has someone who he can set up shots and an elite player who he can get involved. I think this is the first time that in a long time that LeBron James has had somebody of this talent. He's had Dwayne Wade, but that was we knew the story with Dwayne Wade's needs, and he wasn't on the downside, but he wasn't exactly he wasn't putting no more performances like the 06 finals when he had Shaq and that Miami Heat team. But I know that the competition in the West, especially, has gotten better or has gotten tougher this year, and there's a lot of teams that added key pieces. The Warriors, even by losing Kevin Durant, they still added D'Angelo Russell, and they still have other pieces like Draymond Green, and then Steph Curry's still the only unanimous MVP to ever live. And then when Klay Thompson gets healthy, they're going to be fine. D'Angelo Russell, of course, if I didn't mention him. But I know they lost Andre Iguodala and they also lost Sean Livingston, but they're still a team that's a threat. They gained Willie Cauley-Stein, so they're still I don't know if they're still a team that's a favorite to win the championship, but they're still a team that's scary to play in the West. And then you got the Rockets, who got better by adding Westbrook. Denver is still a good team. They're still a team that's tough to play, but I still think the Lakers can get past that. But you have teams like Portland of the world. Utah is pretty good. There's just a lot of competition in the West, whether it's superstar talent or young talent. And the Pelicans this year, with we gave them our young core, and then they also have Zion. So that's going to be interesting to see Zion play with Zoe. It's just going to be an interesting season all around. But I'm really excited for the Lakers. I think they have a lot to prove. I think LeBron, being that it's his 17th year, he realizes that he has to make these last couple years all great in order to make some kind of case for the GOAT. Because I think right now, and I'm not saying he's the GOAT, I'm not saying I agree with that, but obviously we've heard LeBron say he wants to be the greatest player of all time. So to do that, I think rings have to be involved. So I think he has to win at least 2 more rings if in his years with the Lakers. One would be he would get respect for winning 1 in the Lakers jersey, but you want to see him win 2, just as a fan, and it would add to his legacy. But to match Kobe in rings, and also the argument of the statistical game, where really, if you look on paper, that there's really arguments of why LeBron is greater than Kobe, but as we know, it's not all coming down to stats. There's other things involved. If you think that LeBron's better than Kobe, that's great. That's not what this video is. I'm not ranking players. I'm just saying what I think the Lakers have a chance to do. I just brought that point up because you hear the Kobe and LeBron debate, or the Kobe and a Jordan debate, or the LeBron and Jordan debate. But I think it's just really going to be exciting, because I think for the Lakers, this is going to be the first time in many years where we get a playoff visit, and I think that's where it starts first. You get to the playoffs and you get the fans excited, and you get the fans believing that you can really do damage in the West, and hopefully bring home a championship next year. But first step first, I think you make the playoffs, get the fans excited. But after that, from there, I think looking at teams in the West, I think the only team that it's going to be hard to go to a 7-game series against, or a team that the only team that I have questions about in the West that could really put fits up to us, would probably be the Clippers. And it's the fact that they have so much depth, and they can also switch lineups, and they can also do various things on the defensive end. Imagine going to guard, or Patrick Beverley's guarding you, and you call for a switch, and then when you get that switch, Kawhi Leonard's now on you, and then you get another switch, and Paul George is on you, while Zubac or Harrell is waiting in the paint for you to try and come in. It's a scary defensive lineup, to say the least. But I do think, just like us, there are certain question marks on the Clippers that haven't been addressed. In terms of their starting lineup, Patrick Beverley is a good point guard, but we don't think of him as a true facilitator and a guy who's going to set up other people. He is a great defensive player, but I think that's one of the question marks they have on themselves. And also, I know Kawhi Leonard has improved as a shooting, but I think their shooting is going to be kind of inconsistent, because I think they're because of their superstar tandem that they have. I'm not saying it's not impressive, but we've seen with Paul George these past couple years a little bit of inconsistency. I know he had an MVP season last year, but then you go to the playoffs and you see they don't even get out the first round. And if you want to use the Westbrook argument, I don't think that's really a fair argument, because it's a team game, and I think it all came down to Westbrook and Paul George were both inconsistent. With Paul George, I don't know if that has to do with injury. I know he has his shoulder, he had surgery on it, and he's not going to play for the first month for the Clippers. So I think that should be really one question mark for Clippers fans. Is Paul George going to be healthy enough to be consistent in the playoffs to where we can make a run? And I don't think the Lakers really have injury history now. I know LeBron got hurt last year, but that was his first time in how many years where he missed time due to an injury, a major injury of that nature. It doesn't really happen And I know we're used to seeing him go to the finals every year or dominate the East, and now that he's moved to the West, I think we're just kind of forgetting how great of a player LeBron James is. Even on a down year, quote quote down year, he averaged 27, 8, and 8. So I just don't see how you can sit there and see those numbers that he put up, even though he was injured last year, and not think that he could still put terror on the league. And I think now with having Anthony Davis, it's going to help him out so much because you have another player that can create offense. You have another player that could take the load on defense. You have another player that could be a leader. You don't have to do every single thing. You don't have to lead the Lakers in scoring, rebounding, assists, points, blocks. Like it's going to be the first time in a long time that LeBron James has had the weight of carrying a team off of his shoulders, because it's not that case. It's going to be on LeBron and AD. And I think the fact that we're going to see probably this is the first time where LeBron is not the best player on the team. I honestly think they're gonna play through Anthony Davis. I think we're gonna see a lot of pick and roll action to Anthony Davis. I think we're gonna see a lot of alley-oops to Anthony Davis, and a lot of plays just ran through him because I think he is the best player on the Lakers right now. Coming into the year, or maybe he's not the best player, but I think he does have he's the most fresh player, and I think he has a little bit more to prove than LeBron. I think it's his. I think Anthony Davis is probably feeling it's his time to show the league that he's one of those guys, that he deserves to be on the list of names of AD and LeBron James. So I think this year he's really going to prove that things run through him, and LeBron's going to be okay with that because LeBron's going to set things up for him. LeBron's always going to be a willing passer, and when LeBron James does try to score and attack, he knows that if he misses, Anthony Davis is going to be attacking the lane, and he's going to be fighting for the rebound, and we know how great of a rebounder he is. There's not many guys in the league that can stop Anthony Davis, and there's not many guys in the league that can stop LeBron James. And I just think now that they're playing together, we're about to see great things from both players. And I think the coaching staff, as much problems as it was in the offseason to try to find a coach, I think Frank Vogel, I think the players respect him, and I think that I think he's going to do good for us. And I think things set in place for us. We got rid of the Lonzo narrative with the problems with his dad. That doesn't fly when you have a guy like LeBron James trying to win a championship on your team. I thought Brandon Ingram, the failure for him to really grow as a player really hurt the Lakers, because the whole upside into keeping that young core was Brandon Ingram's expected to be, or a lot of people were making comparisons to KD, and that was a reason why the Lakers drafted him, because we thought that we could build him and shape him into a great player. But I think, not that he doesn't work hard, and I don't know if it's injuries, but I just haven't seen like a true growth in him in the league and on the Lakers squad. So I think when you just consider things like that, the Lakers have matured. They've definitely gotten better. I think there's no more really true drama that there was last year with the whole Magic situation. I think last year was just a mess. Like LeBron was hurt. All our players were pretty much hurt. Magic stepped down. It just it wasn't. Rob Pelinka was having problems with him, and then the whole Genie situation. So last year, I know you have to take things into account, and not that LeBron gets a pass, but he was hurt, and he was our best player. When your best player goes down, it's hard to compete, especially in the West. So I think it's going to be really exciting this year to see LeBron come back after an injury like that, healthy. And he had plenty of time to rest, because considering, again, they didn't make the playoffs, and as a fan, that does hurt. Like that it does kind of piss you off when you get LeBron James, and then you tell your friends, and you're arguing with your friends, and they're trying to tell you, oh no, you guys aren't going to be good, and then LeBron gets hurt, and then it turns out the Lakers aren't really good. And we've been hungry for a playoff appearance since the Kobe days, and we don't. And the thing is they don't just want playoff experience. They want to be able to know that if they're going to the playoffs, they're going to make a deep run. They don't want to just be a one and done team. So I think with getting Anthony Davis, that's really gonna it's gonna help push that goal. And they're shooting for championship number 17, and that's what I really think could be important on the legacy charts, is when you have LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they win the Lakers their 17th championship, and that ties the Celtics record for the most championships of all time. I think the narrative is going to be a lot looked at LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I think this time next year, whether the Lakers win a championship or not, I think a lot of people are still going to be impressed with the Lakers, and a lot of fans and media saying that LeBron's done and he's washed. I think they're gonna be set to silence, and it's just gonna be really fun to watch. But that's really all I got for you guys today, and just a little bit of 2K in the background. Hope you enjoy it. I'm not really much of a park kind of a guy. Like, I play with my friends sometimes, but it's not something that I really like just playing by myself. I'm not really a my career guy, so these are the things I'm going to be kind of doing, or the my league things, or making rebuilds, or whatever ideas. Really, I'm a really big fan of rebuilds, getting teams, blowing them up, and or like in terms of their roster and stuff like that, and seeing what I can do with that team. So if you guys have any ideas for the future podcast, please be sure to let me know. But besides that, that's my prediction for the Lakers 2019-2020 season, and the Stow podcast signing off.